Are you ready to get intimate? What is intimacy? And where and how do you find it? Welcome to the Getting Intimate podcast, a daring journey into the heart of intimacy with you, your senses, the whole world, and all the creatures in it. Intimacy can be a pretty wild ride, filled with both longing and apprehension. But what if the vulnerability of intimacy isn't something to be avoided, but celebrated? What if getting intimate is the key to finally coming alive? Discover more with guests from all walks of life and your host, Katarina. So welcome to another episode of this still very shiny and new podcast, Getting Intimate. Today, we're exploring how breath and intimacy is connected. And as our guide, I've invited Johanna Skantze, a Swedish entrepreneur, leadership coach, and breathwork facilitator. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you so much, Katarina. It's so amazing to be here with you.
Thank you. I believe you and I we'll probably have several common threads in our life and our work, but there's one thing that I noticed when I jumped in and explored your website, and it's curiosity. So I was wondering if you could talk about how you became curious about breathwork.
I explored it together with a friend. It was the first time somewhere in Stockholm. I think it was in a water tower, actually, high up in a water tower at the ceremony. And I noticed what happened with my body and my awareness in that session. And some months passed, and a friend asked me, like, "Do you want to come to the session?" I went like, "Yeah." And I go to the session, and the woman who's facilitating, among the first things she says is like, "I am the person in Sweden training in this specific methodology." And for like the first time in my life, I got like this clear downloading, like, whoop, I'm going to do the training. I'm like, what? Am I going to be a breathwork facilitator? I'm like, yeah. And then everything just fell into place. So that's how it started.
But so what was it? Yeah. What was it with breathwork? So you worked with coaching before, you worked with a lot of different personal development traditions, both like ancient ones and modern ones. So what was it with breathwork that pulled you in?
For me, I have a mind that travels very fast. And my body does not always my body has in my previous, like before, my body has been forced to follow my mind. However, with the breath work, what happens is that my body, I kind of like enter my body and get in contact with my body, and all of a sudden it kind of changes. So I come to this place of like total presence, and my body gets to express whatever has been buried someplace in me, or it's just like what wants to come forth, whether it's energy like of joy, or whether it's some energy that's contracted and has gotten stuck. It kind of through the practice of getting aware of my breath, it comes forth. So for me, it's a very strong way of connecting with my body.
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of breath work over the years. And one of the things that I notice when I do breath work is that it's nearly like I get kind of a high, like even a psychedelic experience in a way where I tap into oneness beyond personalities, beyond time, beyond space. It's like an intimacy with the universe somehow. So could you talk a little bit about that experience? I mean, people take all kinds of things to have experiences like that is available just from breath work.
Yeah. But when you said that, I got chills. Like I had this energy rush through my body. because yes, it is. You can get on such a high just from connecting with the breath, which is part, like obviously the getting more oxygen into your body so it can live more in a way. And then also through, like when I connect with my body and the wisdom of my body and the pleasure of my body, oh my God, there's so much that like this body wants to have fun. It wants to, it wants to enjoy itself. It wants to, and through the breath, it's just as you're saying, it's a way of, without taking anything else, it's a way of opening that channel up. Like it's like you're opening yourself up to more life force energy, and we can do that in like endless amounts of ways, and breathwork is one of them, and it's a very powerful one.
Well, one of there's a really good book that I read, I don't know, like maybe a few years ago. It's called Breath, and it's by James Nestor. And it's a brilliant book about breath, from like the science of every day to more mystical experiences. And one of the things that he talks about that reminds me of what you were talking about is humming. Like when you have your mouth closed and you literally hum as you breathe, but you're still like
Mm,
humming, which creates this
mm,
vibration that, like you said, connects into the vagus nerve. So, could you talk a little bit more about that? The breath, the vibration, like what we
mm,
can actually create within our bodies by using our
mm,
breath in different
mm,
ways.
mm. So for me personally, the breathing activates a lot of my life force energy, like the orgasmic
Mm,
energy, and it comes a lot through the vibration, like yeah, through the energy, because I
mm,
activate energy, and I also, when I breathe, I um, I move a lot. Like my body shakes by itself, as if it shakes out stuff that I have clung on to, whether it's old emotions or whatever it is. Um, and I also I I consciously activate my body in order
mm,
for the energy to start moving. Um, which means that for example, I move my hips, or I move my hips a lot. I grind my tailbone again towards the surface, because so I get the energy flowing. I help it. Yeah.
It's funny with the skiing. I remember from being a kid and skiing that I would always hum. And I had three different songs that I would hum as I skied down. And I was afraid. I wasn't really sure if I could do the hill, but I knew if I just kept humming, it would be easier, which now is a very natural choice that
Mm,
I, as a child, just found within myself. Like if I hummed, I felt safer. I had more of a flow. I had more of that, like when I ski down the hill. And I still remember the songs I used to hum as I was like going down the hill. They really are like, entrained in my body.
mm.
So that's beautiful. So maybe you could ask your clients to hum as well
Well,
as breathe.
you know what the funny thing is? Like one thing, it's intuitive. Like both me
Hmm.
and you have a kid, and when our kid was small and it cried, we held it probably, and we were humming, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
intuitive. We know it. Like it's nothing.
Hmm.
Speaking about the book by James Nestor, like it's
Yeah.
not that we've come up with something new here. It's ancient. They knew so much more about breathing before we did. That's one thing, and the other thing is that sometimes I work with young people and adults with functional variation on the slopes,
Hmm.
and and you know what, they hum a lot, they sing a lot, because and they don't give a shit, you know, which has inspired me so much, because I love singing. So I sing a lot more now, like wherever, in the grocery store the other day, there was a man, he turned around, he's like, ah, was that you? Yes. so
Hmm.
so so the humming and the singing is yeah, you know how people, like, there's so much research now showing how people who sing in choirs have a higher, generally a higher sense of well-being,
Mm.
which is created by their own humming and obviously being in the field of the
Mm.
humming together with the others.
And it's also kind of a breath work because you breathe in and you kind of hold your breath as you sing,
Yeah.
which means that there's a continuous holding and breathing and holding and breathing. And there's even something called the happy point in Swedish. It's gladpunkten, where you literally, like, when you sing, you straighten your back
Mm,
and you allow more air to come in. So that's so
mm,
connected. That's
mm,
beautiful. Well, you talk in your work, you talk about different kinds of intelligence, like body intelligence, emotional intelligence, and mental intelligence. And we've been talking a lot about how the breath work actually opens up for this
mm,
intimacy with yourself. But could you also say that there are different kinds of intimacies that go together with the intelligence? So, like body intimacy, emotional intimacy,
mm,
and mental intimacy. Could you talk
mm,
about that?
mm, mm. Yes, it goes together because what I'm what I know so far from my own journey is that the breathing is one practice that I do every day, like all
Mm,
the time almost, and I notice how it opens up the connection to myself and to the wisdom that lives in my body. I have a history of not really wanting to be a woman and not embracing the fact that I am in a female body. And the breath work is it's one part of a palette of different colors of different practices,
mm,
and it is a key one that has opened up more intimacy with myself, my body, uh, more self-love, and more clarity in a way, a
yeah.
clarity that enables me to embrace that more often, all that is me,
Mm,
and all that is me, and it has also given me a lot of insight on like when it comes to emotional intelligence. So what I said initially, maybe we didn't record then, but I said, like, I have a lot better discernment nowadays.
mm,
And what do I mean by that? I mean that I know quicker if I need to go right or left. I know I can discern between different choices in a better way because I can tap into myself, my body. I'm not run by my emotions as much because I can grab myself, held with the help of my breath. I can grab myself in the moment more often, so I can stay in the now with myself in my body instead of getting stuck in the past or like in expectations of the future. So there's kind of a more of a like synchronization between different parts of
yes.
intelligence.
Yeah. That's beautiful. A lot of what we've been talking about is it somehow dissolves part of the separation that
Mm,
most of us have learned to live in with ourselves, with our bodies, with each other, with the world. So, would you say that there is nearly like a longing
mm,
now that is coming forward where people are longing for some kind of different kind of connection with themselves or each other that breath
mm.
work is actually in a way an answer to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's part of the answer to that, and it's a yes for me on that question. Because I think it's also very, like, I know it from myself and I know it from what I experience when I facilitate groups. It's a very soothing moment, just being in the press, like being in the field that that emerges between the people who are in the room, and like, and the moment, like when in this breath work we breathe with blindfold,
Mm-hmm.
So I have looked into so many eyes where I had the sensation of like I was looking into the eyes of a newborn.
Mm.
Ah,
Mm.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
So how many people is it usually in a group breathing?
Mm. I usually do smaller groups. That's what I am choosing so far. So, and that means 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I prefer that because I really want to be able to hold what emerges during the class. And so far, I feel that eight is my number.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can you, so one, can you do it on your own? And two, what's the difference between doing it on your own and doing it in a group setting?
Mm. So yes, you can do it on your own. I do it all on my own all the
Mm.
time, and I use different breathing techniques. Obviously, like during the day, I breathe through the nose and I hold my breath and da da da. And then when I do the technique that I practice is called neurotransformative breath work, and then I listen to audio files and follow the guiding. Well, the difference, and you can do it on your own. You can do it digitally. I facilitate digital sessions, or you can do it in the group session. Um, well, my for me, it's more, and what I've heard a lot of my clients say is that it's a different energy when you are with the others in the same physical room.
Mm.
And you can feel the energy or the releases of the other people, and well, so there's a different layer to that. And for me, it's very strong doing it on my own too. It's just different. It's just different.
Mm. So, how has your life changed since you started to add breath work to it on a regular basis?
I am so much calmer. So, for example, when I learned like a couple of minutes before we're going to start that I was going to be on video, and I thought I wasn't, I was like, ah, shit. I Is this what I want to do? Like, is this how I want to appear in the room? No, it's not. Okay, I'm just going to appear in another way. And I noticed like how I did not stress. And just okay, this is what I need to do, and I'm just going to do it. So there's one big difference is that not as often do I go up in my head first and make stories, but
Mm.
I go and do it. This is what I need to do. So that's one difference. And then as I have connected deeper with my body, with the breath work being one part of that connection process, I have softened,
Mm.
and I am like generally calmer. And I know that calmness is a gateway to intimacy and to pleasure. So
Mm.
I live a life with more intimacy, both in my partnership with the man that I co-create with, and also in relationship with friends and family. And I guess there's more discernment there too, like choosing where to be intimate too,
Mm.
and where
Mm.
not to.
Mm. Like you're closer to you, and then
Yes.
in that closer to everyone else. Mm.
Yeah.
So if somebody listening to this
Mm.
gets curious, they want to start exploring breath work, conscious breathing and breath work, where could they start? What could they start with? Is there a practice or is there something they could try? What would you recommend if somebody
Mm.
listens to this
Mm.
and goes, yes, that?
Mm. I would recommend two things. Like one thing, go to a breathwork session, a guided session, and I would
Mm.
start in person in a physical room. And the other thing is a very simple practice that I do daily is to breathe in and out through the mouth, through the nose. Sorry, breathe in and out through the nose. I breathe in, count to 4. I hold my breath, count to 4. I breathe out, count to 4. I hold my breath, count to 4. And then I do that for like at least a minute, because a minute, like a lot of research shows that a minute is enough to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And if you just search on the internet, like there's so many videos, there's so much information.
And if they live in Sweden and they want to do a session with you, how do they find you?
They find me through my website, and I come to Stockholm like maybe once per month and hold sessions. And then otherwise I hold sessions at Gotland, an island just on the coast of Sweden, and here, where I'm right now, in Åre, in the north of Sweden. And I do digital sessions too, by the way.
So my final question would be, well, what do you think the world would be like if more people were willing to have this intimacy of breath in their life?
I think it would be something that I'm longing for, calmer and kinder, more loving in a way, and loving in the sense of both loving yourself, loving the other, and knowing your boundaries and speaking them and being truthful. I think it would be so much easier for it would be so much easier for all of us if we would just be a little bit, connect a little bit more to our breath.
A kinder world through breath. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping on and for getting ready in 2 minutes and being on camera with us. And what else is possible through breath. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina.